Welcome to video lecture on management and entrepreneurship for IT industry. In this session, I am going to discuss the concept of steps in planning, nature, and purpose of organization. Planning is the first and the most important functions of management. Planning is choosing a course of action and deciding in advance what is to be done and in what sequence, when, and how. In the previous session, we have learned what is planning, what are the importance of planning, and various types of planning. In this session, we'll see what are the steps in planning, what is organization, what are the characteristics of organization, nature of organization, and purpose of organization. Steps in planning. The steps generally involved in planning are shown in the figure. The planning process starts with the formulation of planning objective, then develop the planning premises, then determine the available alternative courses of action, evaluate the various alternatives, choose the best alternative, and implement the chosen alternative, and finally monitor the effectiveness of chosen alternative. The first step in planning is to determine the enterprise objective, that is, establishing verifiable goals or set of goals to be achieved. These are most often set by upper level or top level manager. Let us take an example to understand the planning process. Suppose a company operating in mobile phone handset market has created a new mobile phone especially for targeting the college student. The company wants to create an advertisement plan to quickly market the product. The objective is to reach out maximum students in shortest time. Next step in planning is establishing planning premises or developing the planning premises. There are three types of planning premises, that is, internal and external premises, tangible and intangible premises, and controllable and non-controllable premises. Plans are made to operate in the future. Hence, the second step in planning is to establish planning premises, that is, certain assumption about the future on the basis of which the plan will be ultimately formulated. Planning premises are vital to the success of planning as they supply permanent fact and information relating to the future such as population trends, the general economic condition, production, cost and prices, probable competitive behavior, capital material availability, government control, and so on. Now let us look into the various planning premises. First one, internal and external premises. Premises may exist within and outside the company. Important internal premises include sale forecast, policies and programs of the organization, capital investment in the plant and equipment, competence of management, skill of the labor and other resources, etc. External premises may be classified in three groups as business environment, factors which influence the demand for the product of the enterprise, and the factor which affect the source or resources available to the enterprise. These external premises may include the general business, economic environment, technology changes, government policies and regulation, population growth, political stability, demand for the industry product, etc. Next is tangible and intangible premises. Some of the planning premises may be tangible while some other may be intangible. Tangible premises are those which can be quantitatively measured while intangible premises are those which, being qualitative in character, cannot be measured. Population growth, industry demand, capital and resource invested in the organization are all tangible premises. On other hand, political stability, sociological factors, business and economic environment, attitude, philosophies and behavior of the owner of the organization are all intangible premises. Next, controllable and non-controllable premises. While some of the planning premises may be controllable, some other are non-controllable. Because of the presence of uncontrollable factors, there is need for the organization to revise the plan periodically in accordance with the current development. Some of the example of uncontrollable factors are strike, war, natural calamities, emergency, legislation, etc. Controllable factors are those which can be controlled and normally cannot upset well thought out calculation of the organization regarding the plan. Some of the examples of controllable factors are company advertisement policy, competence of the management members, skill of the labor force, availability of resources, etc. In our example of advertising plan for new innovative mobile phone, forecasting would be required to know about how many college students currently own a mobile, what is the growth rate of this market, what are the buying pattern of the college student with respect to mobile handset. This information would be helpful in creating relevant planning premises. Next step in planning is deciding the planning period. Once upper level managers have selected the basic long term goal and planning premises, the next task is to decide the period of the plan. Business vary considerably in their planning period. In some instances, plans are made for a year only, while in others span for decades. Factors which influence the choice of a period are as follows: a lead time in development and commercialization of a new product. Second one, time required to recover capital investment or the payback period, and length of the commitment already made. Next step in planning is finding alternative course of action. The fourth step in planning is to search for all and examine alternative course of action. For instance, technical know-how may be secured by engaging a foreign technician or by training staff abroad. Similarly, a product may be sold directly to the consumer by company salesmen or through exclusive agencies. In our mobile handset advertisement plan, the alternative course of action are usage of electronic media like youth channels and advertising in college or university campus. The next alternative, usage of print media like youth magazines and creating a poster, and the poster is presented in various college canteens. The fifth step is to evaluate the selected course of action and goals to select the best course of action. This is done with the help of quantitative techniques and operations research. So, in order to evaluate various course of action, we use quantitative analysis, for example, linear programming for allocating the budget. In our example, let us assume that advertisement in electronic media is emerged as a best alternative in our example. It is thus decided that an advertisement would be created and aired in the youth channels. Next step in planning is to implement the chosen alternative or developing derived plan. In this step, selected plan is implemented and the derivative plans are also implemented by deriving the plans from the top level manager's plan. The last step in planning is measuring and controlling the progress. The selected alternative is implemented and its effectiveness is measured. The initial results of implementation start giving the manager an idea of the effectiveness of the plan. So here he has to decide, does the selected plan fulfill the planning objective? If yes, then the plan is continued in implementation. If not, the next decision question faced by the manager is it possible to tweak the chosen plan to fulfill the planning objective? If the answer is yes, then necessary modifications are done and modified plan is implemented. If the answer is no, then the planning process has to be restarted by setting up the planning premises. In our advertisement plan example, if the selected plan, that is advertisement airing in the channel youth channels, did not give any fruitful result, then manager decide to tweak the plan by airing the advertisement during some of the major cricket season and etc. Or airing the advertisement in the sporting channels, etc. The steps in planning, like determining the available alternative course of action, evaluate the various alternatives, choose the best alternative, implement the chosen alternative, monitor the effectiveness of the chosen alternative, are also the steps in decision making. Decision making is a process in which a best course of action is selected out of set of alternatives for achieving the desired outcome. Functions of management are planning, organizing, staffing, directing, and controlling. Now, let us see about second basic function of management, that is organization or organizing. What is organization? Organization is a group of individuals with a common goal bound together by set of authority and responsibility relationship. Or organization is a social unit or human grouping deliberately structured for the purpose of attaining specific goal. Or organization is the process of identifying and grouping of the work to be performed, defining and delegating the responsibility and authority, and establishing relationship for the purpose of enabling people to work most effectively together in the accomplishment of their objective. In terms of all of the above definition, armies, school, hospital, prisons, etc., all are organization. But tribes, ethnic and friendship group, and families are not organization because they do not involve any significant amount of conscious planning, coordination, or deliberate structuring. Now, let us see the characteristics of organization. Important definition of organization indicate that every organization has a purpose or goal or goals which has already indicated in the previous session, that is in the planning. Organization has a clear concept of the major duties or activities required to achieve the purpose. Organization classifies the activities into jobs. Organization establishment of the relationship between these jobs in order to ensure coordination. This is achieved through division of labor and delegation of authority. Now let us see what are the nature of organization. People. An organization is basically made up of group of people, that is an identifiable group of people contributing their effort towards the attainment of goals. Common purpose. Organization exists to achieve certain objective and people of the organization share this common purpose or objective. Coordination. There is a mechanism of coordination among the people and different part of the organization. Authority. There are different hierarchy levels in an organization which defines the authority of the people. Division of work. The total work of the organization is divided into smaller activities in the form of different functions and sub-functions. Environment. Organizations are part of large environment and therefore they are influenced by external environmental factors. What is the purpose of organization? Purpose of organization are to stimulate creativity. Organization stimulates independent, creative thinking and initiative by providing well-defined areas of work with broad attitudes of the development of new and improved ways of doing the things. To encourage growth is the next purpose. The organization structure provides framework within which an enterprise functions. If the organization structure is flexible, it will be help in meeting challenges and creating opportunities for the growth. Next purpose is to make use of technological improvement. A sound organization structure which is adaptable to changes can make the best possible use of latest technology. Next purpose is to facilitate pattern of communication. By grouping activities and people, structure facilitate communication between people centered on their job activities. To allocate authority and responsibility is the next purpose of organization. It specifies who is to direct whom and who is to accountable for what result. The structure helps the organization members to know what is his role and how it relates to the other roles. Next purpose is to locate decision centers. Organization structure determines the location of the decision making in the organization. For example, a department store may leave pricing decision to the lower level manager while in oil refinery pricing decision is to at the top level. Last purpose of organization is to create proper balance. Organization structure creates the proper balance and emphasis of activity. People responsible for the enterprise success might be placed higher in the organization. Reference books and textbooks for these topics are as follows. Thank you.